You want to give us a clap? Excellent. Good morning, fam. It's a great day. I'm Jon.
I'm Erin /Sweetbear.
This is Buckets. We are the Jorgenfam, and welcome to episode 8
Whoa.
of Jorgenfam Weekly. Episode 8. That means
Can you
has
believe
been.
that, Tubba?
That means it's been about 2 months.
That's crazy.
Buckets is being a camera hog right now.
Okay, bye. I don't want to play.
Mic.
I'm not going to play right now. Ow.
Oh, Taba.
No playing.
No playing. We're not playing. Anyway, everybody, welcome to the show this week. Speaking of this week, let's talk about what we did last week. Last week was Father's Day, which we made a vlog of. How was your Father's Day?
It was so fun.
I feel like you're sitting so far back.
That's because I'm tired.
Okay. Sweetbear ran 9 miles today, so excuse her if she's really tired and really boring. How was your Father's Day?
It was so fun.
Yeah? I agree. My parents came over to her parents' house, and it was just a lot of... I'm feeling so crowded back here. This is a rough start. This is a rough start to the show. This is episode 8. We should have this together by now. Anyway, I made a vlog of Father's Day. If you haven't watched it, you should. And if you have watched it, you know that I left a little bit of a cliffhanger at the end of it.
Such a cliffhanger.
So DJ, at the beginning of the vlog, DJ, her brother, he's like working on a gift. DJ's working on a gift that's gonna blow all of our gifts out of the water, I guarantee you.
Are you doing a gift right now?
Go away!
Because
Doing a
DJ's...
gift? I already did.
Go away!
And we talk about how DJ is really, really good at gifts.
Because he really is.
Because, yeah, he's fantastic at them. But then by the end of the vlog, we never say what DJ's gift is. And so I promised that today, on this episode, I would reveal that to you. So, here you go.
Oh, you know, we're all like, oh.
Did you finish your secret gift?
She really got into it.
No.
Birthday.
Which is in October. He's not going to tell us what it is until October.
Birthday. That was going to be a really nice button to this vlog.
No, we didn't tell her. Sorry, vlog.
Maybe he could tell the vlog, but we won't know.
To be continued in October.
Trust me, we were just as disappointed as you were.
And he won't tell us what it is.
He won't.
My dad's birthday isn't until October.
Yeah, so you're going to have to wait until October.
All I know is
just
he was
like us.
on Illustrator, and he was looking at FedEx.
Who really knows? Also, last week, Sweetbear, did you know that Buckets got hit on in the
No,
comments?
what does this
Okay,
mean?
okay. I'm gonna pull it up.
Hit on.
Here's the picture of it. 1 second.
By another dog, I hope?
No, by Shawn Mendes.
Your dog is really hot.
Your dog is really hot, to be honest.
Wow. Shawn Mendes, like the singer-songwriter?
Yeah. So, our dog was harassed in the comments. I take it
Buckets.
half as a compliment, half as a protective father. So,
Somebody
Not really
said you were
sure.
hot, Tubba.
not really sure how to handle this.
He's not sure how to handle it either.
Yeah, he has conflicted feelings.
That's funny.
Anyway, also this week, we finished watching season 3 of The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Unbreakable.
How was it? What are your thoughts on season 3?
So funny. I loved it. I
Yeah.
love that show. That show really makes us laugh.
Oh my gosh, that show is hilarious. I think, I was saying to you, I feel like in season 3, while I wasn't as in love with the plot as I was in previous seasons, the characters I think have really hit their stride.
Yeah.
Every character, from Kimmy to Titus to Lillian, every character is like gold in every scene, you know, and you just love them. They're past the point of like, maybe they're annoying or not. If you love them by now, you love them, and you're gonna love them for the rest of the time.
I don't love Lillian.
I grew to love Lillian this season. Bobby Durst! Oh, Bobby Durst! Anyway, but you enjoyed season 3? Hoping it has season 4? It does have
It
season
does, yeah. It's been picked up.
Oh.
So next, we're on to House of Cards.
Yes, we have to watch season 5 of House of Cards next. So tune in, hopefully in a couple weeks. Hopefully it's not next week for a review of season 5 of House of Cards. If you have watched season 3 of Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, please comment down below. Give us your review. I'm interested to hear.
I don't know if you
What
could
your
just
thoughts
see
might
that,
have
but
been.
Buckets really subtly just left his toy right here.
He likes to do this. He just places it like right on your lap.
Just in case, like you were hoping. to play, like, just in case.
It's not gonna happen. Anyway, Sweet Bear, it is time for another segment of everybody's favorites.
That's life.
It's time for That's Life.
That's life.
Hello, everybody. It's us again.
Why are you saying hello,
and
everybody,
welcome
again?
to this segment of That's
Can't
Life. I can talk. See what I mean? Every time I say a word remotely wrong, she points it out. Today's That's Life is on dating.
Ooh.
Which we clearly aren't very good at because we're married. And we are entered into a covenant relationship.
All right.
But today's That's Life, where we talk about different aspects of life and how we have engaged with them in our lives. This is a segment that you all seem to like a lot, so that's why we're doing it for the third time already. Today's topic is dating.
Dating.
Dun, dun, dun. So obviously we get a lot of questions about dating, and I think it's because we have probably a lot of followers who either are couples, like whenever I go and speak somewhere, I'll meet like young couples who have been dating through high school or who are dating in college and looking to get married, or because that's just top of mind for a lot of people, I feel like especially people in the Christian community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and we're married, so.
And we're married, so clearly we did date at some point. For more information sort of on our dating story, you can refer to earlier videos and earlier vlogs, but really, the short version is Sweet Bear and I started dating when I was 17, you were 15.
You always say that. I was 16.
I was about to turn 18.
Yeah.
There you go. So we dated on and off for 6 years, and then we got married. Mm-hmm. So through college, some long distance,
Very
some
on and
not.
off. Like,
very
we didn't
on and
date
off.
that whole time.
Then we got married, and we've been married for about 2 years. That's the quick version. But before we really dive into talking about dating, I think it's really important to say that just like anything we talk about on this segment, we are not experts in this topic whatsoever. The only thing we can really speak from is our personal experience and the opinions that we have drawn from those experiences. Mm-hmm. We are just as much experts on dating as we are on fitness or nutrition, which is not much.
Like anything we say on any vlog or any video,
Yeah.
It's like...
This is not hard and fast rules of how it must be done. This is not even advice on how you should do it. This is more so you can experience what our perspective and our experience and our thoughts were, and maybe they can help you in your journey on this topic as well. Does that make sense? Great. So I think what's important to do, then the first thing I want to do is I wanted to sort of define what we mean when we talk about dating. Because that, I feel like, is a word that could mean a lot of different things. For a lot of people, especially in their 20s now, dating, you can be dating 3 or 4 people at the same time.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Going on dates with
That
people.
just means you're going on dates to get to know different people. And you have 3 or 4 people at a time that you're sort of doing that with. Mm-hmm. And then when you're in a relationship, you're exclusive with that one person.
Yeah.
Whereas the other side of it is you're only dating once that person is your boyfriend or girlfriend. You are exclusive, and then you're officially dating. Mm-hmm. So for our purposes, what we're sort of talking about here, I define dating as you are exclusive with another person with the intent of that relationship moving towards marriage. Not that you only start dating once you know this is the person I'm gonna marry, but you enter into that dating relationship with the intent of discovering if this person is that person. You already have that inkling. To me, dating is not about getting to know someone. That's beforehand. To me, dating is not, I like this person right now, but I could never see myself marrying them. That's something else altogether. To me, dating is entered into when you find that person where you've explored a friendship with them and you think, this is a person that I could really see myself with, and this is a person that I think God has aligned our lives and our hearts in a way that we could be together forever. Let's begin dating and begin intentionally moving towards that step of marriage. And if we discern that that's not the right thing along the way, then we part ways. But to me, and I know this might be kind of old-fashioned, dating should be something that is only entered into once you are at a point that you can say to that other person, I could see myself moving towards that point of marriage with you. Would you agree?
I would agree. I think that's ideally.
Yeah.
Ideally.
I think that's ideal.
What dating should be.
Right. Which then would mean that, because a lot of people ask, like, when is the right age to start dating? And for me, if that's your definition, then I really don't see any point to start dating before you're 16 at the earliest.
Our kids are going to hate us.
Or, I mean, even 18, because, sorry, got a text. Because, like, how are you supposed to know that? You know, like, you were, what, 16 when we started dating?
Yeah.
And what was your experience?
What do you mean?
Like, did you start dating and were like, I want to marry him?
Yeah, that first summer, like, I knew.
You were the exception to the rule.
Yeah, I don't know. I think some people, it's hard. Like, I don't think there should be, like, well, you shouldn't date before you're 16. Like, I think it's a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
And at 16, I was mature enough to say, oh, I'm totally going to marry this person.
Right.
But I was not mature enough to enter into that marriage, or, I mean, we had a rocky start.
We weren't really even mature enough to enter into a dating relationship.
Yeah, we were like,
so you know what I mean? But I do think that's a good point. I'm not saying that no one should ever date before they're 16 or no one should ever date before they're 18. I guess what I'm saying is it really is on that case-by-case basis. You have to judge the maturity of the person. You have to look at the relationship. And that really goes into like an entire belief system of me on dating and marriage. And that is that no one can tell you the right way to do it. I don't think anyone can tell you the right way to date each other or the right way to be married. I think people can give advice that is overarchingly wise.
Yeah, definitely wisdom. Like,
right.
Maybe you shouldn't be doing this, or maybe you shouldn't be doing that. But yeah, I don't think there are many black and white rules.
Because each and every person is different. I am different than any other person in the world. She is different than any other person in the world. And so when we sort of merge together in a dating relationship or become one in a marriage, we form a very unique cocktail that, ooh sippy sip, that only exists between us.
Yeah.
You know, and so I say that because I think a lot of people, they look at their dating relationship and they judge it based off of those people. Or they look at their marriage and it's like, we're not Chip and Joanna Gaines always so happy.
Yeah, or like, you know, wow, like her husband's really funny and like I wish my husband was more funny. Or wow, his wife, like she does the dishes and makes dinner every night and I don't do that for my husband. And
they seem like they never get in arguments.
Yeah.
You know, but I think judging your relationship off of anyone else's relationship is a really bad practice to get into. And especially when you're dating, because that will only carry over into when you get married. So I want to ask you a couple questions
I'm ready.
About dating. So for you, what was the best part of the dating season that we spent time in? You know, we spent about 6 years dating, and I think there's a lot of people who are perhaps in that season. The reason I ask this question is because I think there's a lot of people who are in a dating season and they rush through it. Yeah. Just to get to marriage. And I think there is a time for dating or courtship or you know, engagement, whatever you want to call it. There is that time, that season where there's some good things that can happen. So for you, what was the best part?
So I think I have a couple. Like one, when we first started dating and really getting to know each other was fun. Like we would take like on our dates.
On a deeper level.
Yeah, on our dates we would play like this game called Questions where you literally just ask each other questions. But it was so fun to be able to like get to know this person and to, you know, kind of discover what we have in common, what we don't have in common.
Yeah, that's interesting. That was a huge part of like the whole first summer of our relationship was literally we would spend hours just asking each other questions about the other person.
And they were like some were deep, some were like, what's your favorite color? Like,
yeah, I never thought about that. But now we are so good at those like Battle of the Sexes games where it's like name Air's favorite season, fall.
He's really good at it.
I know it because then we would flip the game.
Yeah.
And you would ask me, what's my favorite, blah, blah. We would, like, test each other.
Yeah, but I have more favorites than you do, so that's why you're better.
Well, yeah, because I'm not 5, so I don't have favorite things anymore.
Anyways, that was really fun. Along with that, like, sort of piggybacking off of that, watching, and we've talked about this like the other day, just as far as getting married, but watching our interests sort of merge and like become, for me to get like really into the NBA with you, or for you to be like totally cool with watching HGTV, or like, you know, things like that, where it's fun, where you start to become interested in that thing because the other person is, and you want to relate to them on that level.
And I think that really happens hardcore in marriage. That's when it really happens.
Think we did in dating as well.
Absolutely.
And then my last part, which is kind of, I don't know if this counts, but when we hit that relationship, or when we hit that stage in our relationship, when we had talked about and we knew we were going to get married, this sort of stage of dreaming about the future. Like, okay, well, when will we get engaged? And, you know, do you want to live here? Do you want to have kids? And sort of like, I know that might be more of an engagement season, but we had talked about that stuff before we even got engaged, and we had started dreaming sort of about our life together before we got engaged. And I felt like that was a whole new portion of dating that a lot of people may, like you said, may rush through. I don't know.
No,
that's
absolutely.
Bad advice.
No, I think that's well, because one of my big things, I'm going to ask about advice later, but one of my huge things for advice, if I can give any, is honest communication. And part of that is we were totally honest with each other from the moment that both of us were like, yes, not only do we want this to move towards marriage, but we really feel called that that's where it's going. We communicated that to each other.
Totally.
There was no like, let's play games and talk through our friends.
And people thought we were weird. Like, people thought we were very strange.
Yeah, like, what? You're talking about your wedding before you're even engaged?
Well, and it's not like we like planned anything. Like, it's not like I bought a wedding dress or anything like that. But we talked about like, we do see this going somewhere. And yeah, people were like, well, how do you know that John wants that? And I'm like, well, he told me.
Because we talked about it. One of the biggest decisions of your life that you will ever make with another person, and you're not going to talk about it until you're down on a knee with a, couple $1,000 ring in your hand? No, thanks.
Well, because, like, people are always say, like, well, you know, we work on ourselves during the engagement. And yes, like, we did premarital counseling and all of that, but you're so busy and you're planning a wedding and things are changing. Yeah. You don't have a ton of time to work on this. This has to be pretty much solid before that happens, I think.
I think it has to be to a point.
Totally.
Not but, that like there's no issues.
Obviously, you're still going to grow together,
totally.
But like,
as far as you need to be on the same page that this is what we both want.
Totally.
Is what you're saying, I think. Yeah?
Yeah, and just like, I think a lot of people have a lot of issues in their relationship, and then they're like, but we can get engaged and we can work on those major issues during our season of engagement. And it's like, I think a lot of that has to be figured out before.
Yeah. Or at least you have to be on the same page that all those issues should have already come up. There should be nothing new that shows up. Yeah. Like, even if you're not through that issue, it's already been communicated.
Totally.
And you both know you're working on it together. Yeah. And yeah, it's even beyond, like, the communication aspect of it. It's even beyond, do we both feel that this is going towards marriage? It's in everything of your feelings. Learning how to fight. All of that. The communicating honestly is so huge. Even from the initial, like, I have romantic feelings for you. Like, sit down and talk about it.
Yeah, like, people are always like, will ask me advice a lot of the times. Like, I like this guy,
but
like,
I know?
I don't know, like, if he's interested in me. I'm like, grab coffee and tell him.
People hate that advice too.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. It kind of like sucks, but
it feels so much
such
better
an adult
just to know.
then. Just like tell each other.
Yeah.
Don't play these games.
Don't play these games. All right, so those are the best parts about dating.
Yeah.
What were the hardest parts for you?
We had a lot of hard parts.
We did. It was rocky road. Okay.
Rocky road ice cream for us. But like I said, we fell in love when I was 16, and I don't think either of us were really ready to be that in love that young.
No.
And like I said, I knew John was going to be the one, but like,
I think, can I say something that might make you upset?
Yeah.
I think that when we first got together, from the moment we got together, you were ready to be married in the sense of you were ready to spend all of our time together. All the time.
Well, that's like me. I love to spend
Yeah, that's
time.
you, period. You're a quality time person. Whereas for me, I wasn't quite ready for that yet. And I was really committed at first to taking things extremely slow.
Which was good.
And setting up
it slow too,
up extreme boundaries. oftentimes very extreme.
Oftentimes crazy.
But I wanted to be as careful as possible.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is I think we weren't quite prepared at 16.
We weren't quite prepared to carry the emotions that we had.
100%. That's what I'm trying to say.
We didn't have the capacity to carry those emotions and to enact them in a relationship, which I think happens all the time with two young people who fall in love. Because falling in love is easy.
Yeah.
But it's figuring out how to deal with those emotions in a way where you're not going to kill each other or really, irreparably damage one another.
Yeah. So that was kind of hard. I think Jon went off to school the summer after we started dating, and then, we broke up for a while there. So that was hard, him being at school, off at college, and I still had 2 years of high school left.
Yeah.
So that was really hard.
Long distance really was our downfall several times.
Yeah. Well, in that case, we weren't even really together when Jon went off to school.
Yeah.
So we had this amazing summer together, and then it was like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
And that was really rough and hard.
Well, and a big part of that was like communication began to fall apart.
Yeah.
That's really what ended up leading to the downfall.
I mean, I was 2 years younger in school. So.
Oh, that was huge. I was in a completely different season of my life than you were. I was experiencing, living away from home for the first time. And,
like really being adult for the first time.
And to be totally honest, for me, I really wanted to be in that season and enjoy it. I didn't want half of me to be, still at home. And then when you sort of joined me in college, or at least in the same town, things got easier for a while. But still, like, at that, I guess for me, the hardest part about dating, to answer the question for myself, was that, and not until we got engaged, but until we made that commitment, when we had that moment where we're like, we are going to get married, and we communicate that to each other, you were not the most important thing in my life.
Yeah. And I expect it to be.
Right.
And you were the most important thing in my life.
Yeah, but for me, especially once I went off to college, school was the most important thing to me in my life, and she always came second to school. Now, in the middle of my senior year of college, that totally changed, and that flipped. And I think that has flipped ever since.
Totally.
And now you're absolutely the most important thing. Behind God, people. I don't want to get your comments. But that was the hardest thing for me, was because our priorities, as far as where each other fell, were not aligned.
Yeah, I agree. And that's like, I think I was ready to make that sort of commitment before you were. So that was a hard struggle. And also something that's hard about dating or being in a relationship is this person's struggles become your guys' struggles.
Yeah.
And that's hard sometimes.
You really do carry one another's burdens.
Yeah, especially like if your struggle is affecting the relationship, like that sucks. That's hard.
Yeah, Jesus talks about it as being, they'd say, do not be yoked with non-believers. This idea of yoked together, two oxen would have a thing between their back and they would have to carry a load together. When you are in a serious relationship, an engaged relationship, or a marriage relationship with someone, you're yoking yourself to that person, and you have to carry whatever junk they were carrying before. You got to now carry it with them, equally together, and that can be tough.
Yeah.
So, this is just like a whole bunch of thoughts, but I hope it's helpful.
Yeah, it's like kind of rambling.
It's really more of a conversation, but I'm interested to hear if you have any just overarching advice. We've talked about the big thing for me, which is communicate honestly with that other person at all times. Communicate honestly at the beginning with your initial feelings. Communicate honestly when those feelings start to dissipate. Like that's one of the most destructive things that people can do, is they don't, when those feelings start to go away, maybe for someone, or they just realize, like, this is not the person I'm gonna marry. But they're so afraid to hurt the other person's feelings that they don't communicate those feelings or those lack of feelings. And then 4 months, a year down the road, this person is blindsided when you break up with them.
That's hurting them even more.
It's hurting them even more to string them along. So communicate honestly is a huge one. And my other one, while I let you think about it, is to... Sorry.
No, I'm going to say the same one.
To take it slow?
Yeah.
To take it slow.
Go ahead and you can talk about it, and then I'll add my 2 cents.
So to take it slow for me means you have so much time. Like, you have plenty of time. Especially if you really are entering in with the intention to move towards marriage, you're thinking, I'm going to spend the rest of my life with this person. And when I say take it slow, I don't just mean physically. I don't just mean...
Which is also important.
Which is also
smart.
important. But I mean, take it slow emotionally. Take it slow with how much time you spend with the other person. Take it slow with the words that you use with one another. You know, like really just take it slow. And that's going to be a battle. But again, I think one of the best ways that you can take it slow is to communicate honestly and say, hey, I care about you so much, but I want to be very careful with this, you know, because really... You are doing one of two things as a guy or as a girl. When you enter into a dating relationship with someone, you are either caring for the heart of your future spouse or someone else's future spouse. And either way, that is a huge responsibility. So to take it slow is just like everything.
And so like to kind of go off of the take it slow thing, I feel like this is maybe coming out of my mouth because we're in this season of life, but I see so many, especially Christian couples, rush into getting married.
Totally.
And like people might call us hypocrites because we got married really young, but we had dated for a really long time and we felt completely ready. But it is like, it's forever. Like that is forever. And the divorce rates of Christians are so high.
Yeah.
And it's so sad. But I think a lot of people, that's just their goal. And I was guilty of that. Like I just wanted to be married, like 100%. And I had always dreamed of like my wedding and my husband and like being a wife. And so that was definitely in my mind. And I totally felt that. But I had this guy that was like 100% take it slow all the time. So that, although it was frustrating, now looking back, I'm happy that we did that because if we had even a year earlier gotten married, my gosh, that first year of marriage would have been much harder.
Totally.
So yeah, I just think like, especially Christian women, like your identity is so much more than just getting married and getting married young.
That's good.
And having that wedding, you know, or being someone's wife. Like, of course, that's an important part of your identity. And I'm not to say that that isn't. Like, that's a very important part of my identity. But just like John said, take it slow. It's forever, you know?
Yeah.
It's really, and it's going to be so much more difficult if you rush it.
Yeah. And I would say not just people, like we see people hop into marriage too quickly often. There's also a lot of people hop into dating too quickly.
Yeah.
Like I never once in my life have I ever had the thought, man, I really wish I would have dated more. Like, no. I never have had that thought. What I do have is I have the thought of like, man, I really rushed into that. Or man, we should have taken it a little slower at the beginning. Or those are the thoughts that you have, you know? So anyway, that's life.
That's life. That was a long that's life.
But hopefully you all get something out of that. If nothing else, maybe a few laughs at how silly and ridiculous we were when we were younger, and still are in a lot of ways. Let's be totally honest. That's all we have for you this week, really. Next week is a pretty exciting week. I am traveling to San Diego to speak at a conference, which I'm really excited about. We're also possibly planning an exciting trip early next week to do something fun. So just expect a vlog or two next week. That's all I'm going to say. Expect a vlog or two. Congratulations. Before I go, I do want to mention the Jon Cast episode 4 came out today. Thank you all for the reviews that you're leaving. That means a lot. Continue to leave reviews, though. Secondly, I want to talk about the Chicago Marathon. I talked about this a little bit. Sweet Bear's running her first half marathon coming up next month. We're running it together. And then I am running the full Chicago Marathon for Mercy Home Heroes. Mercy Home is a fantastic charity helping young boys and girls get connected in community, throwing activities and events for them. And I am raising money to run my 26.2 miles. And I wanted to tell you all this because my 26th birthday is coming up. And so what I'm asking for my 26th birthday, other than maybe like, you know, tweet at me and be like, happy birthday, John. I am asking for people to give $26 on my 26th birthday to help me run 26.2 miles. And your $26 will go towards Mercy Home Heroes to help those young people. It's an amazing charity. And if you can't afford $26 right now, that's totally fine. Even $1 would be helpful. That link will be down below, as well as the link to the podcast will be down below, as well as where to follow me and Sweet Bear and Buckets on Instagram at John Jorgenson.
At Air Jorgen.
And at Buckets Jorg. So go and follow us. That's all we have this week, except for the Fam Jam. This week's Fam Jam.
Is that why you joined us?
Goes out to Leah Binns. Leah Binns, this one's for you, girl.
Despacito, quiero respirar tu cuello despacito. Deja que te diga cosas al oído, para que te acuerdes si no estás conmigo. Despacito, quiero